Just to reiterate, I really appreciate Chris, the Perform Better team. They've completely changed my life. My first year that I came here, I didn't have my gym, and listening to a few of the people here talk was what kind of influenced me to take that leap of faith. And fast forward, 14 years later, we've got 4 studios, a 5th on the way. And I'm not sure that would have ever happened if it wasn't for these summits. So this is a place that will always have a special place in my heart. So before we get started, real quick, just curious, how many gym owners do we have in here? All right, what about like gym managers? You kind of oversee a team. And then coaches. All right, and then who else is not in those 3? You must have taken a wrong turn from the marijuana convention. Any? All right, okay, cool. All right, so today we're going to talk about building a referral machine, and it really starts with the customer experience. And so that's really what it's all about. So I want to open up with a story about Bill's Burgers. All right, so Bill opened a burger joint, loved making hamburgers, loved just everything about the kitchen. And so he opens up this burger joint and no one shows up. And so like most people, Bill starts diving in. How do I get more customers? And first thing he does, of course, naturally, what do we all hear? Well, you got to post content on social media. So he starts making all these amazing sizzle reels, and he's updating his Instagram multiple times per day, posting to his stories, nonstop. He's uploading stuff to YouTube and Facebook and everywhere he can possibly think of. Every platform, he's got all these amazing videos of these awesome angles of these burgers that he's making. Nothing happens. So then he's like, okay, well, I read, I've got to stand out in a crowded marketplace. And so he's like, I got to, have the purple cow and like something that's unique. And so on Tuesday nights, he starts making a taco burger for Taco Tuesdays. And on Thursday, he implements karaoke night, because who doesn't like karaoke? And then on Friday nights, he's got all these drink specials. And then on Saturday, he actually brings in a magician to do all kinds of like fun tableside tricks for the kids, thinking that's going to bring in more families. And guess what? Nothing really happened. Business was just kind of meandering along. Nothing good was coming from it. So then finally, it's kind of like a last-ditch effort. He hires this consultant. And the consultant comes into the restaurant to meet with him, and they sit down for lunch. And Bill's going through all the amazing things he's doing. He's like, we've got these tacos on Tuesday and karaoke night, and this magician, he's amazing. You should see all the stuff he can do. And look at these videos. Look at all this amazing social media content. And they're about halfway through the meal, and finally Bill stops to catch his breath, and the consultant says, how about you just make a better burger? The food just wasn't that good. And I love that story because I think it's so important. We tend to get so caught up in like, well, we got to post more on social media, right? We got to, hashtag whatever it is we have to hashtag. I don't know. I don't do any of that stuff. But we have, we're always worried about the next thing. And it's like, what about we just go back to the basics? And for us in our industry, I believe that's the customer experience. Last month, I had the opportunity to spend the day with Joey Coleman, author of Never Lose a Customer Again. Highly recommend that book if you haven't read it. But who here believes they provide a great customer experience for their clients? Cool. Joey shared a story that, and this is in his book as well. Bain & Company, a consulting firm, they were interviewing their customers and these businesses, and they said, how many of the businesses believe that they provide an amazing customer experience? And 80% of the businesses felt that they delivered an amazing customer experience. Bain & Company then went to the customers of these businesses and asked the same question. How's this business's customer experience? And when the customers were asked, 8% said that they delivered an amazing customer experience. So clearly there's a disconnect here. And I open up with these 2 little things here just to kind of share the foundation for what we're going to be talking about. All right, now this talk's broken down into 3 parts. All right, part 1 is all on customer experience systems. Part 1, we're talking about making a better burger. Right? That's what it's all about. Let's dial in our customer experience and make sure we're doing everything we possibly can to ensure our clients are having a good time and want to talk about us. All right? Only then, again, we have to give our clients a reason to want to talk about us. Only then can we talk about our part 2, which is our referral systems. All right? And the idea here is that we want consistent and predictable referrals. That's the goal. Consistency and predictability. I want to know next month how many referrals we're getting. And based on the data, based on the systems we have in place, I have a pretty good idea within 1 or 2 across 4 locations how many referrals we're going to get. And then part 3, we're going to wrap this up with just kind of putting it all together. We're going to talk about, as Chris mentioned, I have made a mistake or 10,000, and I'm going to share a couple of those so that as you go home and implement things on Monday, you know what to do and also what not to do. Again, the goal is to walk away with a plan so that we can help more people. All right, a little bit about me, just real briefly. Again, I've been a personal trainer 23 years. This is the industry this is all I've known as an adult. So I've been very fortunate to be in this industry a long time. I love it, love the relationships. I've been a gym owner since 2011. We now have 4 studios. We got a 5th one in the works right now that we're gonna open up later this year. My team doesn't even know that yet. They're not here yet, so don't tell them. I'm gonna actually fill them in on that this weekend as a surprise. That our next location's in the works. We do about 5,000 sessions a month right now. So we do see a high volume of people. We're cranking out a lot of sessions. And I share all that just to say that like everything we're talking about is it's not hypothetical, there's no theory, there's no fluff. Like these are the exact systems we use. I'll give you some of our resources here at the end that like this is I literally just took the thing that I share with my team and it's like, here you go. So side note, I also big travel person, love to travel. If you guys are, depending on who familiar with in the fitness industry, a couple like Mark Fisher and a couple other guys down there, Rick Mayo's close friend. But this just goes back to speaks to the power of networking. All these people I believe I met at Perform Better over the years. That's kind of how it started and facilitated. And so with the travel, I can only do that because of the systems we have in place. I'm confident that we are delivering a good experience day in, day out, whether I'm in the studio or not. All right, so diving right in here, customer experience systems. We're going to talk about 6 different systems that you can implement within your business. As a side note, the first and the last one, I believe, are the most important. All right, so the first one, we're going to talk about defining your customer experience. All right, so now why is this important? Who here has ever had one of those sessions where it's just like effortless? The energy in the room is amazing. The clients, whether it's 1 client, 2 clients, 6 clients, or a large group, you're in this session and everything just feels effortless. Everyone's doing exactly what they need to be doing, and you're telling the clients what to do, and everything just seems to be flowing. Everyone's having a good time. They're laughing. Again, the energy in the room is awesome. And it's easy. Anyone ever had a session like that just felt like easy because everything was going perfect? Yeah, that's awesome. That's fun. All right, now on the opposite end, who here has ever had a session where for some reason you don't know what's going on, but it's like your client, you must be speaking a different language because your clients don't understand anything you're saying. They can't get anything right. The energy in the room sucks. And it's just like no one really feels like they're having a good time. And like all you want to do is go hide in a corner. Anyone had a session like that? I've had many. Yeah. All right. I had a lot of those over the years, the good session, the bad session. And then as I started hiring coaches, I'd have clients come up to me because I'd be like, hey, you're working with Billy today. And they'd be like, oh man, why do I have to work with Billy? Like, why can't I work with you? And as a gym owner, that got super frustrating. Because I'm like, I don't understand. We're doing the exact same workouts. I'm literally reading off the exact same piece of paper or iPad that they are. But yet, so why are we doing the exact same workouts? And yet, the clients aren't really digging it. They're not really into the session with this coach or that coach, or they really want to work, with me or this other coach. I couldn't understand it for the longest time. And well, I'm not that bright. Eventually I caught on. And it had nothing to do with the workouts whatsoever. It was about the experience. And that's why I think that this is just so important. And so you need to define your customer experience with the workouts. All right, now 3 questions to help you start to define this. All right, 3 questions right here. What do you want to happen in a session? All right, what do you want, if it's like, hey, I'm building out the perfect session. All right, what should happen? From the moment someone walks in the door to the moment they leave, what should happen in that perfect session? All right, and then how do you know it's happening? What are those key moments throughout the workout that it's yep, that's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. That all right, this is what I want to happen is happening. And then the third question that you could also ask yourself is just well, what do my best coaches do differently than my worst coaches? Or if you're on your own, what do I do? Is there something that I do in my best sessions that maybe I'm not doing in a different session? Is there some sort of pattern that I can identify here? All right, as an example, so I'll show you, this is exactly what we did. I think I built this out in 2018, but we created our 7 steps to an amazing customer experience. And the idea here is that if we do these 7 things in every single session, every single day, clients will be happier, they'll have a better workout, and it will help eliminate a lot of that well, I want to work with you, or I don't want to work with this person. So again, we have our 7 steps to an amazing customer experience. This is it. All right. Now it's broken down into 3 parts. The first 3 steps should all take place before the workout or just as the workout's getting going. All right, obviously we want to greet people within 5 seconds of walking in the door. We want to build a community. We want everyone to feel welcome, and it's extremely important that they feel that from the first second they walk in. All right, after that, we want to ask them how they're feeling. Hey, Stacy, how's your shoulder feeling? Is it getting better, worse, the same? Hey, how's your energy today? We want to know what's going on. It gives me an opportunity, any new aches and pains, bumps and bruises we need to be worried about? Are you still sore from your last workout? We need to know what's going on so that maybe I need to make some adjustments in the workout. If someone tells me I shoveled gravel all day yesterday, guess what? I'm probably not going to do any heavy deadlifting today. That's good to know before the session begins, not during. And then I want to set expectations. Setting expectations could be in a group setting, just saying hey, I've got you set up right over here in this area, telling the client where to go. It could be describing hey, here's what we've got going on in today's workout. Or it could be, hey, I've got you paired up with this person, or we're going to make these modifications so that your shoulder doesn't bother you. So those are all things that happen before the session begins. Now, those 3 things, they might take 60 seconds. It's not a lot, but it doesn't take long, but it is very important that we do those 3 things. Step 4 is what happens during the session. This is the meat and potatoes of what we do as coaches, 20 touch points. Not in a weird, creepy sort of way, but the idea is we need to provide 20 pieces of feedback. We need to interact with someone, with each client 20 times throughout the session. What that means is, and we do all small group personal training, 6-to-1 ratio. What that means is if we got 6 clients in a session, 20 touch points would be on average, I need to interact with each client every 3 minutes. So I have 6 clients, that means every 30 seconds I need to be providing some feedback to someone. It could be just hey, Scott, nice work, those squats look great. It could be hey, drop those hips back just a little bit more on that exercise. Hey, relax your shoulders. It doesn't really matter. It could be positive, it could be something more of a corrective exercise, but again, we want to provide that constant feedback. And then the last 3 steps, steps 5, 6, and 7, that's all happens towards the end of the workout. Right? So we're going to applaud their effort and give them specific feedback. That could be something as simple as hey, awesome work. You went up 10 pounds on your goblet squat. It could be, hey, great job today. Your form, you're getting so much better at those pull-ups. Anything along those lines. All right, we're going to confirm their next appointment. Hey, am I going to see you on Wednesday at 7 a.m.? Or, do we need to get you scheduled for your next workout? And then I just want to thank them for coming in. Like, hey, I really appreciate you coming in today. Like, it was a great workout. Great seeing you. I'm really glad I got to see you today. So this is whether, I don't care if you copy this, if you come up with something similar, but you need to have a clearly defined experience. This will also help protect you from yourself. And what I mean by that is, has anyone here ever had a bad day? Like, at all? No? Yeah. What happens when you're not at your best? You want systems in place so that you can still have a checklist to go through, because even though you're not at your best, this will help keep you on track. It's like, I know my head's not in the game. I know I'm thinking about this personal stuff I got going on at home, but like I still need to make sure I'm doing these 7 things. So it helps protect us for those moments that maybe we're not operating at 100%. And it's gonna happen to all of us sooner or later. One warning with this, less is more. If you come up with like, hey, I've got these 30 things that need to happen in each session, you're not gonna remember it. So again, this is something like you obviously have to memorize it, because you're not gonna be looking off a cheat sheet on the training floor. So less is more. If I could do this over again, I'd probably try to like number it down to like 5 steps. So that's our first system that I would strongly suggest if you don't have something like this in place, especially with teams or anyone that's trying to scale and help more people. Like, I think this is incredibly important. The second thing is probably the easiest and simplest to implement. It's our 5 text messages a day system. This is something that is required for every single coach that works for me. Every single day, every single shift, no matter what, even when there's a fire, you have to text 5 clients and applaud their effort. It could be, again, talking about how their form improved. It could be talking about something positive they did. I don't care really about the specific messaging, but we have to praise our clients. We want to celebrate our clients. We want to talk like about all the good stuff they're doing. Again, I don't care what the specific messages are, but it's just like we really need to celebrate our people. If this seems like more work, it takes 3 minutes to fire off a couple text messages. If you're like, I don't know is this really a good idea for us? Just try it for a week, and when you see the replies come in from the clients, they'll be like, dang it, he was right. So I promise you, just try it for a week and you'll be amazed. All right, just think about like, who doesn't love positive reinforcement? So always be celebrating your people. I'll jump ahead. That photo there that we send out, that will come in handy for referrals. We'll talk about that here shortly. All right, the next system that we look at is accountability sessions or client check-ins, whatever you want to call it. So our client check-ins are designed to do 3 things. All right, we want to gather feedback from the clients. Are we pushing them too hard? Not hard enough? Are they getting, hurt or just their shoulders really sore after the workouts? What's going on? All right, we want to be able to provide an opportunity to coach them up. And then we want to be able to point out their wins. Again, if you're seeing a theme here, we are constantly celebrating our people. We are constantly trying to build them up, build their confidence, and just make them feel special. All right. How we conduct our accountability sessions. We try to meet with each client every 4 to 8 weeks. Depends on the client. Some clients need a little bit more hand-holding. Some of them, you know who those are. Some of them need a little less hand-holding. All right, but we try to meet with each client every 4 to 8 weeks. These are 5 to 15-minute conversations. This is nothing earth-shattering. We're not sitting down and having a therapy session. It's like, let's get down to work and helping you improve. All right, for us, we're trying to answer 4 key questions. All right, first question, we want to know about the workout. All right, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, how would you rate the intensity of your workouts? 1, meaning you feel like you're about to fall asleep, 3, just right, and 5, you think we're trying to kill you. All right, I'll let you know now, no one's going to give you a 1 or a 5. It's always 2, 3, or 4. If someone says 3, meaning the workouts are good, I move on to the next question. We don't need to waste time talking about that. If someone says 2, then I would ask a follow-up question. Hey, okay, well, where do you feel like we could push you a little bit harder? Is it like you feel like the weights are a little light? Do you feel like you've got too much rest time? Your heart rate's not getting up. Like, what's going on? Same thing if someone says a 4, I would be like, well, where do you feel like the workout's a little bit too much? Like, where do we need to cut back? Is it the weight? I think it's important that we quantify this, because if not, when you ask a client the answer, how was the workouts, they're going to say, pretty good, or, oh, they're good. Like, that doesn't give you any feedback. You want data that you can use to then make educated adjustments to the client's program. And again, if you just ask, like, hey, how the workout's going, you're not getting like real solid data. You're not getting anything solid that you can work with. The second question that we always ask about is injuries. We predominantly work with individuals 40 and over. They can cough and throw their back out for 2 weeks. Like, that's just the way it works. And so I'm starting to learn that myself. But what's going on with any existing injuries? Do they have any new injuries that popped up over the weekend? Anything, like you said, are things better? Are they worse? The same? But I just want to know, like, hey, what's going on with your shoulder? Anything else been bothering you lately? Again, things change over time. So it's good that we're having these regular conversations. The third question is about the nutrition. I want to know, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your nutrition? Nutrition, similar to the workouts, I want you to quantify it. Because if not, how's your nutrition? Oh, it's pretty good. You're okay, fair. Again, that doesn't tell me anything. I want to know, a scale of 1 to 10, how's your nutrition? You tell me, oh, it's a 6. I'm like, okay, is that, are you happy with that, or is that something you want to work on? I'm cool with it either way. Maybe now is a good time, maybe now is not a good time. But I want to know, how is their nutrition, what's going on, and is that something that maybe we need to coach them up on or not? Again, I don't care. I just want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to help the individual if that is something that's important to them. And then the last question is all about stress and sleep. And typically I'm just asking, like, hey, how's everything going outside of the gym? Just like life. The longer you're in this industry, unfortunately, the more you hear all the stuff that comes up, whether it's I'm dealing with a parent that's, sick and dying. I can't tell you how many times I've had a client tell me, they were dealing with cancer, or someone that was having just like a stressful time at work and not sleeping. That's all valuable information that we can use in order to better serve our clients. So I think it's whether you use those 4 questions or something completely different, it doesn't matter. But I think it's important that you have a system in place to check in with your clients. 2 notes on here. I'm not a fan of I personally don't like surveys. Surveys don't allow you to ask peeling the onion questions and dig a little deeper into that. Also, there's certain things that people would probably tell you in person that they won't put in writing. I know there's things I will say often to some of my friends that I would never put in writing. But so I think, and if we think about why we got into this, like, what's our competitive advantage? It's putting the human relationship back in. So again, not a big fan of surveys. We do it at scale. We see 650 clients. We still manage to do all of this in person or over the phone. I think, again, we can do it at scale, and we're not that smart. I think anyone can. Like, it can be done, and I think it's important that it is done. So again, not a huge fan of surveys. And then, quick question.
I was just going to ask if you have a way that one coach does this and then you share it.
We do share the data, yes. So we use Slack. You don't have to. I love Slack personally. That's my go-to method of internal communication. And so yes, all of these notes are posted in Slack. Yeah, and if at the end I'll share my email. If you want to see some samples of that, just email me and ask me, and I'll show you like exactly what it looks like. But it's literally, it will say workouts 3 out of 5, injuries, shoulders bad, like whatever, nutrition 7 out of 10, and then other. And it will say like, really struggling with sleep or whatever it is. So that's how there's a framework there that every coach uses the exact same, and that, because we want one coach to collect the information, but we want the whole team to get it. So great question. And yeah, we do share that amongst the team. So again, I'm not a big fan of surveys. We also use this as an opportunity to really focus on those clients that we're noticing what we would call like low usage clients, or clients that have been canceling, missing workouts. We know they've got going on. Again, this is a great opportunity to really check in with them. All right, our next system that we look at is our client celebration system. All right, so on this, it's having systems in place to celebrate the key milestones in the client journey. All right, now, what are some of those systems that we celebrate? One is the number of workouts. It's super simple, easy to do. We've got like 1,000 workouts. This is at our non-alloy personal training gym where we give out t-shirts on certain milestones. And then we've also got other people that like 25 workouts. So typically we're celebrating like 25, 50, and then 100, 150, 200, 250, and it just goes from there. And so we're celebrating people's milestones based on the number of workouts. We're celebrating their birthdays. If someone has a birthday, we make a big deal out of it. If it's their anniversary in the gym, we make a big deal out of it. If someone's made some progress, I don't have any photos of this up, but we have like all of our coaches have like, I don't know, they're a little bit bigger, bless you, a little bit bigger than 8.5 by 11 dry erase boards. And they'll write on there like, if you go to any of our social media, you'll see these all over it. And it will be like, Sarah lost 8 pounds in 6 weeks. Or so-and-so lost 3% body fat. So we're always celebrating whether it's a strength improvement, body composition change. We'll celebrate people. We'll have clients that go and hike some Mount Kilimanjaro. And so we'll make a big deal out of that. We'll celebrate it. We'll take their photo. We want to document it. We want to celebrate it. And then we'll come back to why this is important. I would say when you celebrate it, make sure you text those photos to the clients. That may come in handy when we're talking about referrals here shortly. All right, our fifth system that we look at is our creating memorable experiences system. Now this one's a little tricky because you want it to be, you want to surprise your clients. You want to make it personable. So it needs to be random, but you want a system. That's kind of conflicting there, all right? But I think this is a great opportunity to make people feel special and really show them that you care. Again, the more personal you can make it, the better. Our goal in each studio is we need to surprise 10 people per month. These are just some examples of things we may do. There's no right or wrong answer. If you're, and this would, how I would implement this if you wanted to, whether it's on a team or an individual. What I will do is every so often when I'm bored on a Saturday, I will literally just go on Amazon and buy 10 copies of Atomic Habits and 10 copies of Sleep Smarter and 10 copies of Switch. And I just disperse them to the gyms. I'll buy like a hiking book. I'm sure based on where you're at, like we have 60 hikes within 60 miles of St. Louis. Like that's a book. I think they probably have them for most areas. Like for people that are wanting to get more active or get into hiking, like that's a great gift that most people would have never thought of getting themselves. And they're $10. It's a book. It's $10. It's going to help them out. Like to me, that goes a long way when you look at like how much. I think that's a good investment when you look at clients that are paying $300, $400, $500 a month. All right. So how we track this, we literally have a sheet in our back office, and it just has the client's name, the coach's name, the date, and what they did. It could be, hey, I gave them, and with all these gifts, add in a handwritten letter. It will go a lot further. Just something to really make people feel special. Again, we try to do this for 10 clients a month in each studio, and we don't always hit that goal, but we get pretty close. And again, the impact when you see clients' reaction is it's amazing. But a handwritten card and a $10 book can go a long way. So you don't have to go nuts and get, like, we'll do massage guns every now and then. It's usually for someone that's done something like pretty big. We're not going to give out a $100 massage gun all day, every day for that, But a lot of these smaller gifts, yeah, we'll give them out all the time. As far as gifts go, just a personal opinion, gym swag is not a gift. All right, that's marketing. And that's okay, but let's not get it confused giving out, stress balls with your logo on it. Like, it's not exactly what we have in mind here. And then the last system, our client onboarding system. Now, we could do an entire 90 minutes on this topic alone. We're going to cover it instead in like 60 seconds. But with the client onboarding system, I think it's important that you get people started off on the right foot. All right, and there's 3 things in particular that I think you really need to address in your client onboarding. All right, now how you communicate these things to your clients, you can use text messages, you can use emails, you can use videos, you can use handwritten cards, you can use in-person conversations. So these are the different mediums that you can use to communicate with our clients. But I believe when someone's starting off, these are the 3 things that we need to definitely make sure we're covering. All right, the first one is all around just welcoming them and reinforcing the buying decision. People have buyer's remorse. If you think about your clients, think about all those folks. You're probably not trainer number 1. You're probably like trainer number 7. Most of our clients have been to this gym, have been to that gym. They've done this, they've tried this. So if you think about like a lot of our clients coming in that have failed to see success over the years, they're probably coming in thinking like, oh great, here we go again. I'm gonna quit here in like 3 months, just like I did every time before. And so a lot of times there's some buyer's remorse there. We want to applaud their decision and really celebrate them, as quick as we can and in the best way we can. We do this through, we'll use videos, we make a big deal out of it via email. They get a kind of entertaining welcome email, but we'll use videos, and then we do in person. But again, you can do it a lot of different ways, but I think it's important that you reinforce the buying decision first and foremost. The next thing you want to do is talk about how to get the most out of your membership. All right, how do you explain that? I would say, look at your very best clients. What are the 3 to 5 things that they do? And then just put that in an email or video and share it with new clients. What are the behaviors that your best clients do? All right, and a lot of that would be, for us, I think some of the obvious things would be like get set up on recurring appointments as opposed to like jumping all over the place, if that's something in your business you do. But like get on a set schedule. You're gonna be more successful. Show up at least 8 or more times per month. Like that's one of ours. Those are actually 2 of ours. Get on a set schedule, because we know that clients that are that come at consistent times are more successful. And then also make sure you're showing up at least 8 times per month. It could be, one of ours is also like do the in-body at regular intervals. Let's reassess the changes as far as muscle mass and body fat's going. It could be keep a food journal if that was something that was really important in someone's business. Whatever your belief system is, that again, identify those 3 to 5 things that your most successful clients do, and then share that information with new clients. And then the third and final thing is to explain like how you do business. It could be as simple as like, hey, the best way to reach out to me is this. Or, hey, if you need to adjust your schedule, make sure you contact us. If you need to adjust your schedule for Monday, make sure you contact us before Saturday at noon, because no one's replying to messages on Sundays. So again, just let people know how you do business. Something that when this one really stuck with me, now it's been many, many years ago, but I had a client at the gym. This was back when I had one gym. Had a client that was missing a lot of sessions, and finally, her name was Debbie, and I was like, "Hey, Debbie," I was like, I called her like before her session, and I was like, "Hey, I noticed you've been missing a lot of workouts," and she was coming in every Tuesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. And I was like, "Man, I know you've been missing a lot. Like, if you could let us know just a little bit sooner, like, why don't we get that session rescheduled? Like, could you come in on Mondays?" And she was very, like, I could tell she was dead serious. She was like, "Oh, I didn't know I could move my time. Like, I just thought it was like use it or lose it." And I just remember for me, it's like, here's this woman that I'm trying to help, and I just completely failed to let her know like how we do business. And as a result, like, she wasn't getting the results she wanted because she wasn't able to show up. And it's like, that was such a like simple thing that could have been fixed, but I did a poor job of communicating to her, like, hey, you can move your schedule around if you can't make it in at these times. And so again, those are the 3 things that you want to make sure when you get a new client. Those are the 3 things, and there's a lot more to it, but those are definitely the 3 key pieces that I believe you need to make it clear on how to set someone up for success when they're starting with you. All right, so now that we've got through those 6 things, 6 systems, hopefully everyone got at least like one little idea maybe they could chew on and help them out. But now we're going to move on to part 2. We're going to talk about referrals. All right, so we've laid the foundation about making a better burger. We're talking about improving the client experience. All right, that's, again, I can't stress enough, that's important because we have to give people a reason to talk about us. The referral systems, if we do a poor job with our, like, it doesn't matter how great we are at asking for referrals. Like, if we're not doing a good job, like, no one's going to refer us no matter how we ask or whatever referral systems we have in place. All right, so just real quick, raise your hand if you have like a referral system in place in your business. Just curious. All right, cool. That's okay. Like, we didn't for many, many years. All right, so the goal with referrals and the goal with referral systems, remember, it's all about consistency and predictability. You know, we want 6 months from now you to know, like, hey, I know that I'm going to get 3 referrals a month or however many referrals a month it is. Again, you want the consistency and predictability, and that can only happen if it's systematized. All right, so before we dive into the specific strategies on it, let's talk real quick on the benefits of referrals. All right, so just some quick math here and some quick thoughts. All right, on referrals, if you were to get, let's assume, you know, client pays $300 a month, kept the math simple, and you were to get 1 referral a month, keep in mind, month 1, you have 1 referral. You have 1 client. Month 2, you have that referral, but then you got another one. So you now have 2 clients. Month 3, so it compounds. I heard Billy talking about compounding interest. All right, same idea applies here. So 1 client a month over 12 months, that's an additional $23,400 in revenue. For those of you that's on a team, it gets even more exciting. So a team of 5, that multiplies out to about $117,000 per year. Now again, that's with 1 referral a month. So most of us, I know for me, I wouldn't be mad if we had an extra $117,000 of revenue this year. I definitely wouldn't be upset about it. So it's a way to help generate more money, more revenue in the business, but also, anyone familiar with the term CAC, C-A-C? So if you're not, it's customer acquisition cost. All right, if you spend money on marketing online, we know that this is not, over time, this is not getting any lower. It's generally only getting higher. So you got to figure at a customer acquisition cost, you know, that's most for us, we're typically seeing like $300 to $500 customer acquisition cost. That's our cost to get 1 client through digital marketing is $300 to $500. It does vary at times, but just like broad strokes, that's about what we're paying. So each client that we get through a referral, we saved ourselves $300 to $500 that we didn't have to pay Facebook in order to get that same person. But what I would argue is even a bigger deal is for the team, it's a lot less work. I don't know about you, but when I get a phone call from a referral, it's just like, hey, what's going on? You know, Scott? Yeah, it's John, nice to meet you. So when do you want to come in? Like, there's really no sale. They're already sold. So I'm not having to call Scott 15 times to try to get a hold of him. Like, he actually answers the first time. And he actually comes in and meets with me and gets started. And so it is so much less work. I don't have to really sell someone because they're already sold on it. And so that gives me more time, more free time to then focus on other things that help grow the business. So again, this helps out in other areas. But these are the reasons why I think referrals are so powerful. Now, as far as asking for referrals or referral systems, there's 2 types of referrals that we look at within our system. All right, the first one are evergreen referral systems. All right, these are specific strategies that we're using on an ongoing basis based on the client journey. So these are things that are happening 365 days a year. We're doing these all day, every day. The second are more seasonal opportunities. All right, these are time-specific, event-driven. These are typically just happening for short periods of time. All right, I'll give you some specific examples, but we do 8 of these a year, just for context. We do two a quarter. All right, looking at we're going to start now with the evergreen strategies. All right, so what are some evergreen things that we can do? What are some evergreen strategies ongoing that we can do in order to generate more referrals? All right, for anyone that does have a referral system in place, what's one thing you do like on an ongoing basis? Anyone care to share? Corey? All right, new member. That worked out well. So when people are starting, I was a little nervous asking that. But when people are starting with you, like that's a great opportunity to ask. I mean, if you think about it, it kind of goes back to like people have failed, they're nervous. You know, when you're dealing with something that like, it can be like starting a gym can be a scary time. And so if you're gonna do something that's a little uncomfortable, how do you make it less uncomfortable? Bring someone with you, just like we would in any other area of our life. And so, asking someone, and we will ask multiple times when we're on the phone booking an appointment. Hey, by the way, Corey, if a lot of people bring someone with them when they come in, you don't have to, but just know that if you want to, offers on the table. Like you're more than welcome to bring someone with you. Again, the fitness director in our business, he's blocked off that hour to meet with the new client. He doesn't care if there's one person or two. In fact, he'd prefer it be two. The conversations are actually a lot better sometimes. And so it could be there. It could be when they're actually in front of you as an individual and they're signing up. It could be like, oh, by the way, you can bring 3 people with you anytime you want, up to 3 people the first month. So just, if you've got anyone in mind, just let us know. But, this is like a sample script that we would use a lot of times. But again, this is a great opportunity to ask for referrals. It's just when people are starting, they're nervous. Again, we'll do it. Really, we look at this as like all kind of throughout the first 30 days. We're trying to hit them up multiple times from when they're booking an appointment to when they're in front of us to even those first few weeks. It's like, oh, by the way, have you thought about anyone that you want to bring with us or bring with you? The second opportunity right here is during the accountability sessions. So you can kind of see how our customer experience systems tie into our referral systems. All right, now the customer or the accountability sessions are, the reason that this is really effective is because we're already in conversation, we're already having a one-on-one conversation. Again, we do everything in groups, so it's like, let's take full advantage of those times where we do have someone one-on-one. So we're already in conversation, we already have the client's attention, and hopefully we're having a pretty positive conversation because we're talking about what they've achieved. So the accountability session is a great time that you could also ask for a referral. And then one third time, and we are talking about celebrating our clients, well, this ties in right here, all right? Why would we ask when we're celebrating our clients? Because it's a positive moment. Like, you just hit 100 workouts. That's a big deal. High five, Scott. Like, that's awesome. Like, we're celebrating that. You could ask, hey, who else, we're celebrating the fact that, like, Scott just lost, 5% body fat. Great way to ask it. Hey, who else do you know that would be looking to do that to see similar results? Pro tip on asking for referrals on an ongoing basis, Fridays and Saturdays. Anyone know why?
I got plans.
They're in a good mood. Think about your clients that you see on Monday versus Saturday. Saturday in our gyms is a party. It's insane. People are there goofing off, and it's like the energy in the gym on a Saturday is higher than any other day of the week, and it's not even close. Well, why not ask for a referral when people are in the best mood, all right? I typically am not going to ask many people for a referral on a Monday because all people can think about is like, I got to get to the office so I can go fire someone and I better hit my, they're thinking about like all this awful stuff. And so, again, we really drive this home on Fridays and Saturdays. And it's amazing how you can get a much greater return on your efforts in doing so, like I said, a Friday or Saturday versus a Monday. All right, now let's talk about some seasonal referral strategies here. The first one, probably the most obvious, I think this is pretty common in the fitness industry, but it's a Bring a Buddy week. All right, Bring a Buddy week, we run this 4 times a year, once a quarter. Personally, I would not suggest running it any more than that. I think it becomes watered down. Some people would say like, just twice a year. If you, I think you're really missing out if you're not doing this at least twice a year. Again, we like 4 times a year, but 2 to 4, pick your poison. But the reason I think this is so effective is because it's a low pressure opportunity to bring someone in. You think about like gyms over the years, at times developed a bad rap for like, oh man, going in for the sales pitch. People know it's not a consultation, it's a sales pitch. Well, this feels different because it's like, no, you're not sitting down to talk to anyone. Like, just come work out with me. And so again, it's a really low pressure opportunity. There's no commitment, and it's easy. All right. Pro tip on this one: we tend to run these the week after we have an event or party. All right, think about this. We just had, for our 3 alloy gyms, we just had our anniversary party last month. And we have it at a bar, food's provided, alcohol's provided. And guess what? Clients show up with their spouses. And what's the first thing I do after I say like, oh, hey, they introduce me. Oh, hey, it's so nice to meet you, Sarah. It's great. By the way, where do you work out? That's the next, hey, next week's Bring a Buddy week. You want to come try it? Like, why don't you come join her? Come join him, come join her. So again, we do this. We'll have even more luck if we do this the week after a party or an event or someplace where people are going to be with us in person and their spouse is there. This is really simple to ask. We make these announcements at the beginning of each session in our gyms, and it's just like, hey guys, next week's Bring a Buddy week. Who you bringing with you? Who do you want to bring with you? If you want to take it even a step further, if this is something that you're like, man, we tried Bring a Buddy week and it just didn't have the effect, at least in like a small group or large group gym environment, what I would do is if you're going to have Bring a Buddy week next week, look at your schedule and where do you have openings? And it's like, oh man, our 8 a.m. session's not very full. We'll text the people in that 8 a.m. session and be like, hey, by the way, next week's Bring a Buddy week, we got 2 spots open on Monday at 8. Do you want to bring someone with you? So our fitness directors will actually go through session by session. There's not that many sessions. It's not like this takes 2 hours. It probably takes an hour to do. Well worth the investment. And they'll just go through the schedule for the week. When do we have openings? And then text the people in that session and just be like, hey, we've got an opening on Friday at 1. You want to bring someone with you? So really easy way to just get a little bit more out of this. So it's one thing if you do Bring a Buddy week and just hang up some flyers. It's taking it a step further, and I believe it can be a lot more effective. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I can say that when we started doing this, the amount of people that we got in for Bring a Buddy week went up exponentially. So our goal is at least 10 people each time per location. So when we do Bring a Buddy week, we're trying to get 40 clients in, or 40 potential clients in across all the gyms. So if we play our cards right, it can be extremely effective. The second thing that we'll look at is the gym anniversary. Now, I'm not talking about the client's 1-year anniversary. I'm talking about the gym anniversary. All right, for our alloy gyms, that's the month of May. For our Blue Ocean Fitness, our non-franchise gym, that's October. So the entire month is a referral promotion. This is something we do once a year. It's our biggest and best referral promotion of the year. It's only available to friends of clients. This is, like I said, this is the biggest thing we do this is the biggest discount on like a low barrier offer that we will do throughout the entire year. All right, this is a big deal. Same thing. We try to get 10 from each studio. That's our target. All right. So again, this is not something we advertise. This is internal only. We make it clear to our clients, hey, this is a better deal. Like, we don't do this for anyone. This is for you guys only. All right. So that's something, like I said, we'll do it all month long. The cool part is we have a big anniversary party. And so again, our anniversary party is at the beginning of the month. We built up some goodwill because we're buying food and drinks. And so it's a fun time. And again, just kind of shows people we care about them. And this just kind of like compounds from that. So we're aiming for 10 per location. And we have some pretty good success with it. But that's an opportunity, your gym anniversary, that you could just, it's just one of those things that you could set up to, you know, if you open your gym in March, it's like every single March, this is what we're doing as a referral promotion. The good news is once you build it out once, other than maybe tweaking the offer over time, which we do, we'll tweak and try different offers. Other than that, like it's just rinse and repeat. And then the third seasonal strategy that we can use is a holiday or a challenge. We can incentivize people by saying like, hey, you know, we'll do like sticker challenges. Adults are weird about putting stickers on a board. I don't understand it. Raffle tickets, people will give up their firstborn for an extra raffle ticket. It's weird how that stuff works sometimes. But we'll incentivize, hey, if you want to bring someone with you to do this challenge, like you'll get an extra 2 stickers. People go nuts. Like, again, I don't understand what it is about stickers, but adults go crazy over them. And so that's something that is really helpful. And so how we could ask, you know, this is a good way. And by the way, these scripts that like I'm sharing are interchangeable. You could use pretty much, other than the anniversary gift card. But, you know, what I like about the challenge example, as far as like, hey, I want to fill the gym with more awesome people like you, I'm paying you a compliment. Like I'm leading with a compliment. Yeah, I could do that for any of these 6 offers here. And it's true. I'm not going to ask the client that I can't stand. I'm going to ask the clients that I love. Like, you know, I want more of them. So what we'll do as far as our seasonal referral strategies, we do Bring a Buddy Week 4 times throughout the year, so once a quarter. We have our anniversary promotion every May or October, depending on the gym. On Valentine's Day, and I'll show you an example of what we used, every Valentine's Day we do a referral promotion. And then every Thanksgiving we do a Friendsgiving promotion. So those are our 8 seasonal things that we've got sprinkled in. Again, it's 2 per quarter. And then 1 challenge. So those are, like I said, those are the 8. All right, now let's talk about referral pro tips. You want to pour some gas on the fire here. I got 6 ideas that may help you out. First one is to document and follow up. I was an idiot when I started doing this and thought I could remember everything, and you can't. And so now when someone mentions like, oh, I've been trying to get my neighbor in here, the first thing I want my team to do is write it down. For us, again, that goes in Slack, just like everything else. I hate Post-it notes, put everything in Slack. So that way the fitness director and everyone else on the team can see it, because we want to follow up at least 3 times over 30 days. You know, hey, by the way, when's your neighbor Stacy coming in with you? Hey, when are we getting your neighbor Stacy in here? Hey, we've got some openings next week. When you're in, do you want to bring Stacy with you? Like, again, we're following up 3 times. I would argue from the gym owners I talk to, most people are not following up multiple times on each referral. Again, this really makes a big difference. So you want to document and you want to follow up. The second thing, this is the star of the show. This is my beautiful daughter. We have these, so to provide some context here, we have these like 17 by 11 posters hanging in all of our bathroom stalls. We have about 6 different variations, and we switch them out every week. So when someone's sitting on the toilet, they're looking at Maggie. She's looking at them. But again, we make it fun. We make it playful. You know, our tagline is sweat, smiles, and sarcasm. Like, we're going to have some fun. You know, we're going to have some fun. And so the posters serve as a constant reminder. You know, I'm not just asking for a referral once. You're seeing something about it every day. Every single day you're in the gym. I want that reminder, like, hey, bring your friends in here. We're trying to build a community. We're trying to help more people. Help us out. Throw us a bone. But again, we're going to have fun with it. It's so it might feel like, man, you're asking for a lot of referrals. No, yeah, we are. And I don't apologize for that. But we're not doing it in a weird way. Like, we're having fun with it. We're very playful and sarcastic. And again, it doesn't I've never once received feedback that was negative around asking for referrals. And because we're coming from a place where we want people to know that it's like, we're just here to help. Like, we're trying to help people. That's what we're in business for. So if you know someone that could benefit from working with us, like, introduce us. Come on. All right, this was, I mentioned earlier, the Valentine's Day. So it was Sweat with Your Swole-mate. We did a printed little gift card. We put it in we got some, I don't know, plastic sheets from Amazon and put some chocolate in there with them. Again, it's one thing to ask for a referral, but if you give someone something physical to take with them, it helps remind them. I don't know about you, because our clients, their attention span is not good. They forget what we said, 45 seconds ago. And so if we actually give them something to take with them, they're more likely to remember. We added the chocolate because I wanted something that, like, they wouldn't just like throw it in their glove box. And so I believe the chocolate is more likely to actually make it out of the car into the house, as opposed to, again, just throwing on another stack. Another example, this goes back to the milestones. When someone hits 100 workouts, we give them a gift card for a free month for a friend. We give that to them inside of a blender bottle. Why? Because the blender bottle is not going to get thrown away. It's not going to get thrown in the glove box. So we give them a blender bottle. Inside of the blender bottle is a gift card. All right? So yeah, we're giving away blender bottles when people hit 100 workouts. But again, the ROI on it's great. So it's worth the $10, $12, $8 blender bottle, whatever it is. But by putting it in something that's not just like a single sheet of paper, it's not going to get thrown away. All right, probably one of my favorite ways, this is what I would say years ago, this was by far my most successful strategy that I used, and like 100 to 1, not even close. My personality is very sarcastic, and that paid off for me here. Now, when it comes to posting on social media about clients, I have two different strategies. One is to celebrate them, is what Erin, one of our managers, who's amazing, she's a rock star, she did right here. So she does a great job she will go on social media and on her Facebook page, because as a business page, you can't tag individuals, and it's going to do much better if it's from a person, human to human. And so she will go online, she will tag 1 or 2 clients in there and just applaud them for whatever. So she will celebrate someone. That is something that I would say, like, low-hanging fruit. You could do, if you do that once a week, man, think about those clients, all their friends are seeing that, and that really pays off. What I prefer to do was to use it more for accountability, all right? And we staged these, we did one photo shoot. I wouldn't even call it a photo shoot. I took the photos. But it took us 10 minutes. So what I did, I got a pair of binoculars, and I had the entire team, I want you to look out the window as if you're looking for someone. And I snapped their photo. And then what will happen is, someone doesn't show up to the gym, I will take that photo, post it on their Facebook page, tag them in it, and be like, hey, Sarah's looking everywhere for you. Sarah and the team's looking everywhere for you. Where are you? All of the client's friends comment on it, and they're just dying, like, oh my gosh, your trainer's amazing, or like, this is hilarious. So we will do this. We also staged photos where I had each one of the coaches go next to our front door and like kneel down and look under the rug. And we'll do the same thing. And it's like, hey, Sarah's looking everywhere for you. And like, even looking under the rug. We will paste their photo on the side of a milk carton and do the whole missing person thing. That works really well. We will take a empty parking spot, and I'll snap a photo of an empty parking stall and be like, hey, I saved this spot for you, but the problem is it's still empty. Last example, we'll do a lot of like selfie videos where if I know someone's friends, I'll come over and record a selfie video with their friend in it. And again, just kind of like poking fun at them, joking around, post that on their social media. So those are 2 different ways we will use Facebook it doesn't cost us $1, where we'll just kind of like play. Sometimes we'll celebrate people. Sometimes it's more of an accountability post when people don't show up. And again, it's all in good fun, but the eyeballs on these posts go far. And again, doesn't cost you anything. All right, last couple things here. Giving public praise. All right, 2 different ways that we'll do this. You want to make a big deal out of it. When you get a referral, like, thank the person. You know, I've made this mistake before where I didn't make a big enough deal out of it. All right, whatever you reinforce, you're going to get more of. Whatever you reinforce, you will get more of. So when someone gives you a referral, the bigger deal you make out of it increases the likelihood that you'll get more of that in the future. All right? We'll make an announcement at the beginning of the session. Hey, shout out to Corey. He brought his buddy Steve in, who is now absolutely crushing it. Like, thanks a lot, Corey. Appreciate you inviting Steve. You know, I'll do that. We could do it in an email newsletter to the clients, like, hey, shout out to these 5 clients who referred a friend last month. You could do that. A handwritten card goes a long way. It's weird. I have a stack of handwritten cards at home. I tend to save them. I don't know why. I very rarely go back and look at them, but it's like it's something meaningful. No one writes handwritten cards anymore. So a handwritten card, you know, we use planks. I mean, thanks, but that's what we'll do. We'll write handwritten cards, just letting people know, like, hey, I really appreciate you, trusting us to take care of your friend. So again, whatever you reinforce, you'll get more of. I think that's extremely important. All right, last part 3 here, moving on. All right, this is the stuff I got wrong. All right, again, the goal is to make the customer experience and referral systems, it's to make this as easy as possible if there's some ideas here that you want to implement. All right, the first thing, I used to come to Perform Better as I mentioned, I've been coming since 2011. I would take 20 pages of notes. I would walk home with 47 ideas that I was going to implement. Fast forward 6 months later, and there were still 47 things on that list because none of them got done because I was trying to do everything at once. And it's not a good idea. It's not going to help you. And so, mistakes to avoid, don't try to change everything at once. What I would suggest is figure out what are the 1 to 3 initiatives that you want to tackle over the next 90 days. Again, don't go crazy. Less is more. What's the 1 to 3 things you want to tackle? All right, who's responsible for each change? All right, if it's just you, well, we already know the answer. But if you're part of a team, don't make the other mistake I made, which was I used to always put every new idea on my best employee. I would get everything to them. And I didn't realize all I was doing was drowning her. All right? And then you also have to think about what resources need to be allocated. All right? Anytime there's a shift in priorities, there must be a shift in resources. All right? Everything takes time, energy, effort, people. All right, so anytime you're shifting priorities, anytime, if some of this stuff that we talked about is a new initiative that you want to tackle, just understand that there's an opportunity cost to that. All right, you can't just throw 30 things at someone. Something's got to give. You've got to find a balance there in order to make sure it all gets done. All right, second thing would be not taking action. I'm not sure where I first heard this, but basically pottery class broken up into 2 groups. First groups was their goal was to make the perfect pot, and just one, and they had to make the perfect pot. And that was what their entire class was spent on. The other group was spent, they were just trying to bang out as many pots as they could, just build as many as they could. And what they found was that the group that focused on the volume and just getting the reps in and getting the practice in improved exponentially greater than the group that was just trying to do this like one perfect thing. And so I would just say, don't wait to take perfect action. Take imperfect action. Just get your reps in. Understand that if you're not used to asking for referrals, it's going to be weird at first. But that's okay. A month from now, it won't be weird. So you got to be willing to get through that awkwardness in order to get referrals so that you can grow your business. Schitt's Creek, great show, by the way. But another mistake is not making it clear what you want. I look at this 2 different ways. The first way is if you have a team, all right? If you have a team, gym owner, manager, make it clear to your staff what you want. Make it clear, like, how do you ask for a referral? Thankfully, I've got scripts here for you that you can use, but literally give them 1 and 2 sentence scripts, like exactly what to say. Show them, tell them, put it in writing. All right, so make sure you're making it clear, you're setting them up for success. From the client standpoint, how you can ask for referrals more effectively would be to tell them, don't say like, hey, do you know anyone that can come to the gym? I mean, if that's what you have to say, that's what you have to say. But you're going to be a lot more effective if it's like, hey, Justin, who else do you know that is looking to get out of back pain and add 20 yards to their golf game? Like if I make it clear what I want, guess what? If I say, who else do you know that wants to lose 20 pounds and improve their, add 20 yards to their golf game? Like he's probably instantly going to his golfing buddies. By giving him something more specific, it's going to be a lot easier for him to come up with someone. And so make it clear what you want. All right, this goes back to reinforcing what you want. Another mistake that a lot of people make is failing to reinforce the behaviors you want. With a team, when you see them ask a client for referral, afterwards give them a high five. Nice work, that's awesome. That's what we're trying to do here. Right? When someone gets a referral, give them a shout out, whether it's on your Slack channel or something. All right? So make sure you praise people when they're doing whatever it is you want them to do. All right, with clients, same thing. Celebrate them, make a big deal out of it. All right, last mistake to avoid, and this is not a strength of mine, is be patient. Understand that change takes time. All right, if you're trying to implement things, again, it's going to be clunky, it's going to be weird, you're going to screw up. And that's okay. Like just keep working and keep working on getting better, and know that change takes time. All right. So you've got to, whether it's from rolling out all your ideas from this weekend, you've got to go slow in order to go fast. And so be patient, build the systems, and don't try things once and then just give up if it doesn't click. All right, a couple books that really influence this talk right here. So these are 9 books. The ones on the on the left are all about customer experience. Those are some of the best books I've ever read that have had a significant impact on our business. The books on the right are all on asking for referrals. So I'll give everyone a chance to take a photo of that if they're interested. All right. Last thing to wrap this up. So if you scan the QR code, it will take you to your email should pop up. And basically, if you want to download our referral cheat sheet, we'll send that over to you. Again, this is the exact, I didn't edit anything. I left it exactly as is. This is exactly what my team uses on a daily basis. This is what we use to generate pretty consistently. About 50% of all of our new clients come from referrals. So again, that's at scale across 4 locations. So we've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. But on here, you'll have, I think it's broken down into like when to ask, when that opportunity is, why that is a good time to ask, and also how to ask. All right, so last thing I want to leave you with, quick story about a guy named Paul. All right, Paul was a gentleman that in 2016 he had a first stroke. Since then he's had 3 more strokes. All right, he's had a kidney removed. He's a type 2 diabetic. He's on dialysis. He goes to dialysis 3 days a week for 4 hours. It's like the highest amount of dialysis you can go. He's on 24 prescription medications, which I didn't even know that was possible, but he's miraculously pulled it off. So that's not even the worst part. The worst part is his quality of life sucks. He can't hunt. He can't fish like he used to do. He's never held his grandchildren because he's not strong enough. He's a burden on his family and friends. And, Paul lives a very miserable life. He's actually now, to add to that, he's in a wheelchair full time, can't even walk. And it's just because he's weak. All right, the reason I know Paul's story so well is because Paul is my father. And I share that to say, just to leave you with one thing, and that's there are so many people out there that need our help, that need what we do. And so my challenge to everyone is to execute these systems and to make sure that you can help more people. Don't be afraid to ask for referrals, all right? If you're afraid to ask for referrals, I would say you're being selfish and you're worried about you as opposed to the other person that you're missing out on the opportunity to make a difference in their life. And so when you go to work on Monday, just remember the work we do matters, we really do change lives, and we really do make a difference in the lives of others. So thank you all so much for your time.